This is my Smith & Wesson Model 1006 10mm auto pistol. They don't make these anymore. As you can see, it has the adjustable sights. Kind of nice looking gun. Only real modification I've made to it are the Hogue rubber stocks I put on in place of the hard plastic ones it comes with. And then there's one other small modification internally I'll show you when I disassemble it. Anyway, it's a rather powerful gun. My self-defense hand load I carry in it is contains a 155 grain spear gold dot, and I'm not going to tell you what powder charge I'm using, but it's a maximum charge of Accurate Arms number 9, and I have a chronograph, and I've clocked those particular bullets going 1,350 feet per second, which is good for over 625 foot-pounds of muzzle energy. So it's a very substantial caliber, much more so than 45 auto even, and not very far behind 41 Magnum, and it's certainly substantially above 357 in the hottest loading, so that's something to say. And here's the magazine, and these are my loads right here. That's a Remington nickel case, but you can see the hollow point. So it's 155 grain gold dot. Anyway, you load them just this way, just like any other. Magazine holds 9 rounds. And I definitely don't feel powered with this gun. I'm not going to actually load it for safety reasons. But anyway, I'll show it's empty. As you can see, there's not a round in the chamber. Magazine well is empty. One thing interesting about this gun I don't particularly care for, but there it is it has a magazine disconnect, meaning if the magazine is out, the trigger does not work. So the trigger is just free moving, and only with the magazine in place will it actually operate. So I'm going to show you how to disassemble and reassemble this gun. So anyway, I am going to get this notch here, even with the slide stop here. So I just kind of move it out, and then push on the back. And then just a little more energy, and there it is. Now, this particular gun, I like to use a decocker to lower the hammer, and then the barrel and slide will come right off in one unit. And there it is. That's the barrel all in one part. And then you can see the other little modification, if you want to call it that. This thing right here is a recoil buffer. It allows the slide to cushion when you fire it, so it doesn't batter it so much against the slide. Against the frame rather. Saves wear and tear. Also slightly cushions the recoil, makes it a little smoother. I put that in. It's a little disposable piece. It's good for maybe a couple hundred shots, and then you have to replace it. But it sure beats cracking your frame, cracking your slide. As you can see, it's pretty chewed up. This gun has fairly substantial recoil, but it doesn't really bother me. I don't know why people say it's so unmanageable. Anyway, here's how you take the recoil guide rod and spring out. You just push forward slightly, and then that comes out. And there you have your spring guide rod. Here's the little buffer. There's the guide rod. I've lubed these slightly with a special rig lubrication specifically for stainless steel. There's that. Lift out the barrel. It too I've slightly lubricated with the rig. There you go. It's still pretty clean. I've shot it a few times, so there is some carbon fouling on the ramp, feed ramp, but other than that, it's pretty clean. Sit down the barrel. Anyway, it's actually a bit easier to disassemble and reassemble than a 1911 A1. You just need strong hands. There's the spring guide rod. Make sure it's oriented this way. Just have to push hard until it matches that little cutout where it engages the little retainer. And then reassemble. You have to line up the slide with the receiver. Then you have this thing here you have to push down, and then this, and there's this little thing here you have to push down real hard, and then it's on. Now I need the slide stop, so I get the slide stop barely in there. Push. Just even with it. It's all the way in. This is the decocker, by the way. Allows you to safely lower the hammer without firing. It's also a safety. If I have the magazine fully inserted, the safety doesn't engage. Off. So this is a really good gun. I'm glad I have it. I'm glad I'm going to hang on to it. These are getting to be in demand now that the 10 millimeters regaining popularity a bit in some circles. People recognize it for the excellent self-defense caliber it is. Certainly much more substantial than the 40 Smith & Wesson that kind of replaced it. As I said, I have no problem shooting this. I mean, I have another video of myself up here on YouTube. I mean, firing this very gun with these very loads, and it's not intimidating at all. I can shoot very quickly. It's a very accurate gun too. I'm pleased to say I have no problem with not even trying to put 5 shots inside 4 inches at 25 yards or less. And the grouping I show on here is pretty nice, even though I didn't really try. Just 3 magazines full, clustered really pretty nicely. This gun shoots really nicely. It's not at all unpleasant. It does make a big bang. Not quite the recoil level of 44 Magnum, being an auto pistol. The recoil is taken up by the slide coming backward. That helps spread out the duration of the recoil. It's a beautiful gun. Very high quality, very beefy. It's actually significantly heavier than even a 1911A1. It's all stainless except for the hammer. The hammer is carbon steel that has been nickeled. The reason for that is if you make the hammers out of these out of stainless as well, apparently they had a problem with breaking right off. So that piece is carbon, but the frame, the slide, trigger, slide stop, most of the internals stainless steel. The wings here that protect the rear side are also stainless. It's got good sights, 3 dots. I like these pretty well, even though a lot of gun writers poo-poo them, but I think these are really a pretty good compromise. And if you really didn't like the dots, what's to stop you from taking a Sharpie and blacking them out? So I didn't, but they're really good. It's a great gun. So it's powerful. I'm not in any worries, you know, if I ever needed to use it for defense, and I hope I never do. But this is my self-defense weapon. And that's about it. And if you have any questions, you know how to comment. Thank you.